Hey everyone, this is Nikki, and I wanted to answer another one of your great questions. Someone shared, what do you do if you are in a monogamous relationship and you want to open up that relationship or figure out the steps towards opening up your relationship? And I think this is a really good question. It's also not an easy one. It's difficult. What I find really interesting when I do workshops on this topic is that often I ask folks who are in monogamous relationships, well, how did you figure out what monogamy meant for you? How did you establish boundaries there? And often the conversation is as simple as, hey babe, you want to go steady? Hell yeah. And I think this is problematic because within monogamy even, we have very different definitions about what is okay and what's not okay. So some people might feel hurt thinking of their partner watching porn or masturbating and thinking about someone else. Some people might think flirting is problematic. Some people might think getting someone's Instagram is okay, but getting their number is not okay. Some people might think, actually, when my partner's out of town, maybe it's okay for me to do a little something, something. So we have different definitions, but they're often not discussed. So I think one of the both great and difficult components of opening up your relationship is you have to figure out clear boundaries with your partner, which means, first of all, you have to know what you're okay with and what you're not okay with. And then you have to discuss with your partner what they're okay with and not okay with. And then you have to figure out that middle ground, because it's never going to be exactly the same. That's just not the way it works. I've tried this multiple times, and it's never been that you are worried about the same things or that you want exactly the same thing. So often how it works is one person is more okay with openness than the other. And I think that doesn't mean it's not going to work. It just means that maybe the partner that is less comfortable has to work on pushing their boundaries but not surpassing them, not going too far for them. And the partner that might want more freedom has to figure out if they're okay with not fully acting on that and finding a way to maintain balance within the relationship. But I would say for couples that are in a monogamous relationship, it's really important to take baby steps towards whatever the goal is. So the first step is to figure out, why do you want an open relationship? What's the situation? And I think for some people it could be that there's a libido difference and they want to find sexual release elsewhere. For some people it might be mostly to explore their queer identity. For others it might be more about exploring emotional connections with other people. So I think it's important to have a discussion about that first, because that will determine what steps are needed to get to that place. So I really recommend taking it slow. So if the goal is to have sexual freedom, perhaps the first step is to get dressed up and go out with intention to flirt and see how your partner feels, to sort of sit with that feeling, knowing you're out there flirting, or vice versa. And then have a discussion about how that felt and what issues and feelings that brought up. And then from there, maybe you can move towards making out, oral sex, whatever the goal is. You don't want to go there right away, because once you've been hurt, it's harder to figure out how to move on. So the baby steps is really important. I would also recommend working with a specialist on this. So this is one of the main topics I work with couples about, is sometimes you need a third party to help you navigate and figure out what that middle ground is for you, where both people are like a little unhappy but also more happy than they were with monogamy. It's like finding that middle ground and getting to the bottom of what feelings are being brought up, because oftentimes the feelings that are brought up may have to do more with you than your relationship. So a lot of the time it's like, if people are feeling self-conscious about their body, if people are feeling like they're not doing well in work, whatever it is, these are all feelings that impact and relate to how they feel knowing their partner is out there making out with someone or whatever it is. So I really recommend taking it slow. I recommend having regular check-ins with your partner where you're vulnerable and honest about your insecurities. And I recommend getting educated on the topic. So reading some books, listening to some podcasts. If enough of you are interested, I have a 2-hour course where I work with couples to give them the tools they need to figure out how to open up their relationship. So reach out to me if you're interested in that. I could do one of those this summer if there's enough people interested. But it's really about first figuring out how you feel, then having the words to communicate that to your partner, and then finding a happy-ish middle ground, which is very, very doable. So thank you so much for listening. I think I'm going to do a part 2 on this where I go more into how to manage jealousy, because that's a whole monster of its own that I don't think I have time to get into here. I was also told I should make my videos 1 minute for people to listen. This is 5 minutes, but hopefully y'all are still here, and I appreciate you. Have a great rest of the day, and please keep sending me your ideas and questions for videos, because this is a thing now. I'm doing it. There will be more. Have a great rest of the day.